So today I'm going to be making a beautiful fish finger sandwich using some lemon salt goujons, and I'll be making a beautiful tartar sauce, a lovely cabbage slaw, and then we'll just build that sandwich and serve it with some courgette fries. It's going to be absolutely lovely. So first things first, I'm going to make a mayonnaise to then use the mayonnaise and make a bit of tartar sauce. And for the mayonnaise, I'm going to need egg yolks. So I'm going to start by breaking the eggs into this bowl. And I can just then lift out the egg yolk with my hand and just transfer it into this container, which I'm going to be making the mayonnaise in. And with the whites, you can always use it in an omelette or anything else, really. Nothing goes to waste here. And then I'm going to need a lemon. So just give it a roll with your hand. Then I can just slice it and get the juice out. But I will just run this through a sieve because I don't want to get any of the pips in there. So obviously I want the mayonnaise to be quite acidic because we are going to be serving it with fish, and lemon and fish go really well together. And a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. So to mix this, I'm actually going to use an immersion blender because this is the most foolproof way of making mayonnaise. You can whisk it by hand, but then, you know, if you don't get it right, your mayonnaise is going to split. So now I'm just going to start adding some olive oil into this. So I'm just going to get that going and just stream this in. And then next I'm going to get some veg oil in there. So as you can see, this has gone really thick and it tastes absolutely lovely. Now if this thickens up too fast and you don't get the opportunity to get the oil in there, you can always add a bit of water to it to thin it out. Or if the mayonnaise is just too runny, then obviously what you need to do is just add a bit of oil to it. So obviously more oil. So lovely thick mayonnaise. So at this point I'm just going to add a bit of seasoning to it. Just give it a quick stir. And I'll just leave that on the side for the moment. Next I'm going to make the tartar sauce, and for the tartar sauce I'm going to need some herbs. I've got some parsley and dill. I've also got some capers, cornichons and shallots, which is essential for the tartar sauce. And then we can also add a bit more lemon juice to the sauce if we want it. So let's start chopping the herbs first. So all we're going to need to do is just bunch this up and just start slicing through the herbs. quite gently in fact, because we don't really want to be going at herbs over and over again, because we are going to end up bruising them. So if I just run my knife through them just once more, and I've got myself some beautiful chopped dill. And perhaps I'm not going to use all of that parsley there. Just a handful of parsley should be enough. And again, with the parsley, the same as the dill, just bunch it up and just slice it really thinly. So as I was saying, if you keep going at the herbs over and over again and end up bruising it, especially with soft herbs, you're not going to get as much aroma. And next up, I'm going to start dicing one shallot. Just remove the skin and a few thin slices lengthwise. And maybe a cross cut. And then I'm just gonna start really thinly slicing the shallot. Then next up, a few cornichons, a good handful. I'm just gonna cut it in half and then into quarters, and then finally dice them. So the cornichons will give the tartar sauce a lovely texture. And then next we want about the same amount of capers. And with the capers, I'm just going to run my knife through them just a few times to roughly chop them. And with the capers, we are going to get a bit of acidity. In the tartar sauce. Now I'm just gonna transfer that mayonnaise into this bowl, give it a good mix, and we are gonna give it a quick taste test once we've mixed this all together, and see if we want to give it maybe a little bit more lemon juice. Tastes absolutely perfect. Not gonna add any more lemon juice to this. So next I'm going to then make the slaw, and for the slaw I've got a hispy cabbage here, some fennel, perhaps half a lemon juice and a few chilies. That's what I'm gonna get into there. Now this cabbage is hispy, as I say. If you go looking for it in supermarkets, the chances are you'll see them as pointed spring cabbage. Now for this slaw, I'm only going to be using this cabbage as opposed to the Savoy cabbage, as this is a lot tenderer and also a lot sweeter. Now I've removed a few of the outer leaves. So if I just cut this straight down the middle, you see how lovely and beautiful this is. And now I'm just going to start slicing this down really thinly. And then with the fennel, I'm just gonna start peeling the tougher outer parts. And now I'm just gonna use this mandolin to really thinly slice this as well. And this fennel really is going to add some nice anise flavor to this slaw. So that's for the fennel. And then next, adding 3 chilies. So again, thinly slice them, but these chilies really aren't hot at all. So I've just cut the chilies on an angle, and I'll just add the juice of half of a lemon into there. And I'm just gonna run that through the sieve again to stop the pips from getting in. And I'll just season it with a bit of salt. So, the slaw is done and the tartar sauce is done. And now it's time for the fish. Now the choice of fish for me here is lemon sole, which is a flat fish, and this fillet of fish is held together with a bone which runs down the middle here, and I'm just looking to remove that now. Obviously trying to cut as less of the meat as possible. So I'm just gonna slice each of these in half. To batter the fish, I've got some flour, then egg and breadcrumbs. So we're gonna go in the flour, in the egg and in the breadcrumb. We are gonna need to season the flour with some salt and some pepper. And then if I just whisk the eggs, we can then start frying. Let's just get all the fish in there and covered with the flour. Then I can just lift these out and just hold them in one hand and just give them a good shake like that. Get rid of any excess flour, and I'm just gonna go in with the clean hand into the egg. Now I've got some panko breadcrumbs here, and it's just a bit lighter and crispier when you compare it to the normal breadcrumbs, but by all means you can just use the normal breadcrumbs if that's what you have. And we're pretty much ready to start frying. So, pan on, and I've got some oil in there. Now I need to get the temperature of the oil to 180 degrees before I drop the fish in. And if you don't have a digital thermometer, what you can do is just drop a bit of bread in there, and if the bread comes up pretty quickly and it starts going brown, then it gives you an indication that the oil is hot enough and you can get your fish in. So I'm probably going to get about 4 bits in there for now, as I don't really want to be overcrowding the pan either. So the fish is all ready, it's all fried up, and it's looking golden and absolutely fantastic. So I'm just gonna let this rest over here for a few minutes and get a bit of that beautiful ciabatta ready so that we can assemble the sandwich. So if I just cut this right down the middle, and this is my absolute favorite choice when it comes to bread, and I'll just get that grilled on this griddle pan. So just a bit of olive oil onto the bread. Simply lay that on here onto the griddle pan and just toast it. So the bread's all nice and toasted, it's ready to go. And now it's just a case of building the sandwich. So we're gonna start off by getting a generous amount of the tartar sauce on both bits of the bread. A good bit of the cabbage slaw. And I reckon about 3 bits of this fish would be absolutely lovely. So the lid on, and I'm just going to cut this right down the middle. And there we have it, a lovely fish finger sandwich made with a beautiful lemon salt goujon and served with some crispy courgette fries. And I guess it's time for me to give it a proper taste test. It's the perfect fish finger sandwich. Those lemon salt goujons are absolutely delightful, and it's got a bit of acidity in that tartar sauce, and obviously the mixture of the capers and the cornichons, they just absolutely work well and they're lovely. So we're not really trying to reinvent the wheel here. All we're trying to do is show the amount of love and care that's gone into this sandwich. And I guess on that note, that's been it for this one. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you did, please make sure you drop a like down below, and if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, and it would be really appreciated. And I guess I'll be seeing you in the next one really soon, but until then, look after yourselves and remember, the secret ingredient is love.